Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
Welcome to the first ever episode of Outlaws and Gunslingers Remastered. That's right, if you guys clicked on this, you'll see Red Dead, Wild Bill Hickok as the subject matter of this episode, which means if you've been with us since the beginning or you've scrolled through our list of podcasts we've already done Wild Bill. Actually, it was our first ever episode we did of Wild Bill. And some might clicked on Wild Bill, our first one, and be like, I'm never listening to this podcast again. But in light, especially of all the Wild West episodes, we decided to go back and remaster, redo, and re-record all of our older episodes and see if we get a little different perspective. It's been...
Well, we already found out that this is a total different Wild Bill story than the last time we were here.
Yeah, somehow all this stuff gets now there's all these
more
stories. Every third episode of the month is going to be remastered. So we got about, for the foreseeable future, next 23rd episodes of the month are going to be all about the Wild West. So we're revisiting a bunch of Wild West stuff, and actually can't wait because it's been about, well, Wild Bill's almost 4.5 years since we did this episode. So, dude, that's
right, and he's in his prime right now in the DWL, man, kicking ass. Kicking ass.
Is his name Wild Bill?
Yeah.
Well, we'll never know because we'll never have another season.
Right.
So, so remastered. We're not going to take, Dang over here was like, we should redo the Wild Bill episode, the first one, because the audio was crap. It was 4+ years ago, and we F-bombed every 5 seconds. But we're going to keep it up because we plan on doing this and then compare and contrast. It's all about, might as well leave it up, show people how we started.
We only F-bomb every 30 seconds.
Right. Maybe. But it's a new and improved Wild Bill Hickok, so if you've been with us since the beginning and you've heard Wild Bill episode, don't worry, there's a lot more info in this one than there was in the first one. So,
with all the stuff we did between Wild West, Prohibition, the Depression era, then you got Public Enemy number one.
Public Enemies.
Right, and then we went into randoms and all that. The Wild West was by far the most interesting and like fun ones to do because, man, cowboys are dumb.
They did a lot of dumb stuff.
Outlaws are dumb. And I mean, I guess the Prohibition era.
Especially Prohibition, too. I was going to say Bonnie and Clyde, they did a lot of dumb stuff. And,
right.
Yeah, they weren't very smart as well either, so...
But now that we got into the 70s and 80s, it's getting more dumb and fun again, too.
Well, just Mafia.
Not even Mafia. Hell's Angels. That first episode seems like it's going to be a doozy.
It shall be. Plus, we got serial killers that
we all know
those are mostly going to be 70s and 60s and 80s. So, got a lot of Outlaws and Gunslingers are about to kill it right now. James Butler Hickok, folk hero of the American Old West, known for his life on the frontier as a soldier. He was a scout. He was a lawman. He was a cattle rustler. He was a gunslinger. He was a gambler. He was a showman and an actor, kind of. And he is also known for his involvement in many famous gunfights.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's a good man. He's a good guy with the.
He's a good guy with a bad attitude.
Well, he's a good guy with the question mark after that.
He's like a vigilante.
He's a good guy.
Right, good guy.
He's a good guy.
Sometimes depends on who's paying him. Pretty much, I guess.
Right. He's like Josie Wales.
Well, he was not a good guy at all.
It could be.
Literally not.
To women.
Well.
No, it is not. He's the one that slapped that one girl around in that movie.
I don't know.
Was it Josie Wales?
It wasn't Josie Wales, but there was another one. Damn, I can't remember the name, but he literally raped the chick the first time he saw her. So, yeah.
Right.
James, we should do like stories on his characters.
Clint Eastwood's character?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
It'd be just crazy.
Dude, it'd be a Clint Eastwood podcast. We can do that. We can easily do that.
Get off my lawn.
Who was better, him or John Wayne?
Well, we already know the question to that. Answer to that.
Who else was
I mean,
cowboy guy back in the day.
Steve McQueen.
Yeah, and them are spaghettis.
Yeah, that's what do you think? Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and all those are spaghetti western.
You sure?
Yes,
maybe.
Clint Eastwood was one that continued on the famousness of the John Wayne ones.
Tell you what, there's nothing like turning on TV and it's a black and white cowboy movie. I'll watch it.
I don't know about that.
I'll watch it.
Gunsmoke or something?
No, I don't think I've ever watched Gunsmoke.
Well, that would be black and white.
It's usually
The Lone Ranger.
well, you're just thinking of the high name ones, the popular
Yeah, well, I mean, go to HBO Max. They got literally hundreds of them.
everywhere.
Yeah, James Butler Hickok. Born May 27th, 1837, Homer, Illinois, which is present-day Troy Grove, Illinois.
Wow.
To William Alonzo Hickok, 1801 to 1852, who was a farmer and abolitionist, and his wife, Pamela Hickok, maiden name is Butler. She lived from 1804 to 1878.
Wow.
He was of English ancestry. He was the fourth of 6 children. His father is said to have used the family house, now demolished, as a station on the Underground Railroad as well in Illinois. Huh? His daddy, William, died in 1852 when James was 15, and just like the last episode, still cannot find a cause of death on that.
Dude, his mama was old.
I mean, she was
back in the day.
74, right?
Yeah, that's pretty old. That's like 100.
His dad was 51. I mean, that's pretty decent, too.
Right. He probably looked like he was 80.
I'm assuming he died from a heart attack. That's what I'm going to assume, right?
Probably that or cholera.
It's just 1850, I guess. Well, they lived
in Illinois.
In cities and stuff.
Right. Very nice.
Right. Still gonna have dirty water, I guess.
Right.
Wild Bill was a good shot from a young age.
Wild Bill was a wild.
He was a Wild Bill, and he was recognized locally as an outstanding marksman with a pistol.
Ooh.
Photographs of Hickok.
It's hard to be a marksman with a pistol. Everybody was a marksman with the old single shot. The loop.
Yeah, but you're thinking of like a small pistol. Those motherfuckers had barrels that were this
Huge.
long.
Right.
Rifled. If they were rifled, then you're even more better.
Ooh.
Better. He was photographs of Hickok appeared to depict dark hair, but all contemporaneous descriptions affirm that it was indeed red. He was a ginger boy.
He was a ginger. 1855. 18 years old. Wild Bill fled Illinois following a fight with Charles Hudson, during which both fell into a canal. Each thought mistakenly that they had killed each other. Wow. I guess
Get out of here.
because apparently they both alive themselves. Hickok moved to Leavenworth in the Kansas Territory, where he joined.
Wait a minute. I'm pretty sure when we did this before, he killed the guy.
They thought so.
It's the first time I'm hearing that they both thought.
Right. Hickok then moved to Leavenworth in Kansas Territory, where he joined Jim Lane's Free State Army, which is also known as the Jayhawkers, which was an anti-slavery vigilante group active in the new territory during the Bleeding Kansas era. At this time, when Wild Bill was running around with the old Jayhawks, he met 12-year-old William Cody, which would be later known as, you guessed it, Buffalo Bill.
Puts the lotion on the skin.
Right, who, despite his youth, served as a scout just 2 years later for the United States Army during the Utah War.
He was 14, huh?
Yeah, there was a Utah War.
Well, that would be the Indians, yes.
Wow.
Hickok used his late father's name, William Hickok, from 1858, and the name William Haycock during the American Civil War. Why? Most newspapers referred to him as William Haycock until 1869. He was arrested by using the name Haycock in 1865. We know that. Afterward, resumed using his given name, James Hickok.
Right.
Military records after 1865 list him as Hickok, but he was also known as Haycock.
Oh, wow.
It depends on who you ask, I guess.
Right.
In an 1867 article about a shootout with Davis Tutt, which we'll get to, his surname was misspelled as Hitchcock.
Oh, wow. When Wild Bill was in Nebraska, he was referred to by one man as a duckbill for his long nose and protruding lips. Ooh, I bet he didn't like that. He was also known before 1861 among Jayhawkers as Shanghai Bill because of his height and his slim build. He later grew a mustache following the McCandless incident, and in 1861 began calling himself Wild Bill.
You can't give yourself that nickname, guy.
Right.
Well, flash back to 1857, he claimed a 160-acre tract in Johnson County, Kansas, near present-day Lenexa.
Wow.
March 27, 1858, he was elected one of the first 4 constables of Monticello Township. 1859, he joined Russell, Majors, and Waddell Freight Company, which was the parent company of the Pony Express.
Oh, shit.
1860, he was badly injured by a bear.
Man.
While driving a freight team from Independence, Missouri to Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's a hell of a ride. According to Hickok's account, he found the road blocked by a cinnamon bear and its 2 cubs. Dismounting, he approached the bear and fired a shot into its head, but the bullet ricocheted off its skull, infuriated him.
Oh.
That's one thing you don't... It's got its cubs, dude. Come on.
Right. Well, after that, the bear attacked, crushing Hickok with his body. Old Wild Bill managed to fire another shot, wounding the bear's paw. The bear then grabbed his arm in its mouth, but Hickok was able to grab his knife and slash his throat, killing that bear. Damn, modern day Revenant.
Revenant?
Revenant.
Well, that's a true story.
Revenant is?
Yes.
Wow.
Hugh Glass. Imagine the blood just pouring down Bill's face probably after he slit the throat.
Holy shit.
And he's like, can't breathe.
Right. Damn. Hickok was severely injured. Crushed chest, shoulder, and arm. He was bedridden for 4 months before being sent to Rock Creek Station in Nebraska to work as a stable hand while he recovered.
Oh, just go shovel shit and all this stuff with a cracked chest. Dude, I'm surprised he didn't die. You ever seen like the bears? They like cats, pounce on you.
Pounce. While he was in Nebraska, the freight company, they had built a stagecoach stop along the Oregon Trail near Fairbury, Nebraska, on the land purchased from David McCandless.
This McCandless feller, July 12th, 1861, old David McCandless went to the Rock Creek Station office to demand an overdue property payment from Horace Wellman, who's the station manager. McCandless reportedly threatened Wellman, and either Wellman or Hickok, who was hiding behind a curtain, killed him. Hickok, Wellman, and another employee, J.W. Brink, were tried for killing McCandless, but were found to have acted in self-defense. McCandless may have been the first person Hickok killed. He subsequently visited McCandless's widow, apologized for the killing, and offered her $35 in restitution, all the money he had with him at the time. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't.
That's a lot of money.
I didn't mean it.
Right. After the Civil War broke out, April of 1861, Hickok became a teamster for the Union Army in Sedalia, Missouri. By the end of 1861, he was a wagon master. But September 1862, he was discharged for unknown reasons. He then joined General James Henry Lane's Kansas Brigade, and while serving with the brigade, saw his friend Buffalo Bill Cody, who was serving as a scout. And he was like, hey, what the hell?
Is he his friend? He met him 7 years ago now.
Everybody's friends, right? When you meet somebody once.
Yeah.
Late 1863, Hickok worked for the Provost Marshal of Southwest Missouri as a member of the Springfield Detective Police. Look at that. Good for you, Wild Bill.
His work included identifying and counting the number of troops in uniform who were drinking while on duty. Snitch.
Oh, wow.
Verifying hotel liquor licenses.
He's a hall monitor.
Right, and tracking down individuals who owed money to the cash-strapped Union Army.
Wow.
Buffalo Bill claimed that he encountered Hickok disguised as a Confederate officer in Missouri in 1864. He's like, I'm trying to just do my duty, man. Hickok had not been paid for some time and was hired as a scout by General John B. Sanborn by early 1865.
Oh, shit.
In June, Hickok mustered out and went to Springfield, where he gambled. The 1883 History of Greene County, Missouri described him as, quote-unquote, by nature a ruffian, a drunken, swaggering fellow who delighted when on a spree to frighten nervous men and timid women. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Got all drunk and was like,
right,
I'll kill you.
Right, he's just a don't give a shit mofo. Wow. Let's take a look at the Hickok Tut shootout. Happened on the 21st of July in 1865 in the town square of Springfield, Missouri, between Wild Bill and there was another gambler in town called Davis Tut. It was one of the few recorded instances in the Wild West of one-on-one pistol quick draw duel in a public place. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. We've already established, well, I guess we're going to establish again, but for those of you that didn't listen to our Wild West stuff, duels were not common at all.
No.
You didn't have people standing in the middle of the street when the clock struck noon. You fired and never went down.
Right, which would usually what you see in
any movie.
All these dime novels, radio dramas, and Western films such as High Noon.
Hey, there you go.
The first story of the shootout was detailed in an article in Hopper's Magazine in 1867, making Wild Bill a household name and a folk hero. Well, see, that was Harper's Magazine. That would have been nationally. You ain't kidding.
So, there you go. Well,
shit.
Tut and Hickok, both gamblers, had at one point been friends, despite the fact that Tut was a Confederate. And Hickok had been a scout for the Union, obviously. Davis Tut originally came from Marion County, Arkansas, where his family had been involved in the Tut-Everett War, during which several members of his family had been killed. He had come north to Missouri following the Civil War. Hickok had been born in Illinois, which you said, coming west after mistakenly yes. Right. So they're now here in Missouri.
Well, as you all know it, you got two drunk gamblers. They had a falling out. And it happened not even over gambling or whiskey. It happened over a woman. There are reports that Hickok had fathered an illegitimate child with Tut's sister.
Oh, no.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, wow. While Tut had been observed paying a great deal for attention to Wild Bill's paramour, Susanna Moore. Oh, shit! They got a whole love triangle.
Right, well, love quadruple.
Right. When Hickok started to refuse play in any card game that included Tut, the cowboy retaliated by openly supporting other local card players with advice and money in a dedicated attempt to bankrupt Hickok. He's like, all right.
You don't want to do that.
All right.
The simmering conflict eventually came to a head during a game of poker at the Lion House Hotel, which is now the Old Southern Hotel. Hickok was playing against several other local gamblers while Tut stood nearby loaning money as needed and encouraging them, coaching them on how to beat Hickok. The game was being played for high stakes. I mean, you can't be doing that. And Hickok had done well, winning about $200, which is about almost $4,000 as of today. Of what was essentially Tut's money.
Oh.
Irritated by his losses and unwilling to admit defeat, Tut reminded Hickok of a $40 debt from a past horse trade.
Whatever.
There we
then
go.
You give him $40.
Right, here you go.
Right. Well, Wild Bill shrugged it off and he paid the sum, but Tut was unappeased. He then claimed that Hickok owed him an additional $35 from a past poker game. He says this, I think you are wrong, Dave. That's what
Price is wrong, bitch.
Right. It's only $25.
So he did owe him.
I have a memorandum in my pocket. Ooh, he's got.
Well, look at this piece of garbage. He knows he owes people, and he's still just over there gambling away. Like
At least he has receipts in his pocket. If somebody tries cheating him.
I guess.
He's like, whoa, 35? No. Tut had a large following at Lion House. Encouraged by these armed associates, he decided to take the opportunity to humiliate his enemy. You don't want to do that to Wild Bill. He didn't like being humiliated. In the midst of their argument over the $10 difference in the debt, and while Hickok was still playing poker, Tut grabbed one of Hickok's most prized possessions off the table, his Waltham Repeater gold pocket watch, and announced that, hey, guess what? I'm going to keep this here watch here as collateral until you pay that $35 in full, Bill.
Wow.
Oh. Can you imagine that scene in that little dim bar with dust floating everywhere with the sun coming in the window?
Right, and the bartender's like, come on.
He's cleaning the glass. He's like, oh.
Well, Hickok was shocked and livid, but outnumbered and outgunned, he was unwilling to resort to violence at the time. He quietly demanded that Tut put the watch back on the table. Tut reportedly replied only with an ugly grin and left the premises with the watch. Aside from publicly humiliating Hickok and taking his property, Tut's demand for collateral on a debt from a fellow professional card player implied he thought Hickok was an insolvent gambler trying to avoid his debts.
Wait, but he had a memorandum. Didn't they look at that?
But he still didn't pay him.
Right.
To ignore such an insult from Tut would have ruined Hickok's career as a gambler in Springfield, which was reportedly his only source of income.
Right.
You can't be letting this guy slander you. Nobody's going to let you play anymore.
Right. They ain't going to play with you. Wow. Well, furthermore, groups of Tut's friends reportedly continued to mock Hickok after the initial confrontation, baiting him with talk of the pocket watch to see if he could be goaded into drawn in anger so he could be shot down by the whole group. He's like, come on, let's get this guy to draw that pistol. After several days of this, Hickok's patience was at its breaking point when a group of Tut supporters at the Lion House mocked Wild Bill and announced that they had heard Tut was planning to wear the watch in the middle of town square the very next day. Hickok reportedly replied, he shouldn't come across that square unless dead men can walk. Ooh. Damn. Having apparently made up his mind, Wild Bill returned to his room to clean and oil and reload his pistols in anticipation of a confrontation with Tut the very next morning. He's like,
I'm going to make sure these things are nice, ready to go. Well, although Tut had humiliated his rival, Hickok's ultimatum essentially forced his hand. To go back on his very public boast would make everyone think he was afraid of Hickok.
Right.
And so long as he intended to stay in Springfield, he could not afford to show cowardice.
Right.
The next day, he arrived at Town Square, sure enough, around 10 a.m., with Hickok's watch openly hanging from his right waist pocket.
Shit.
The word quickly spread that Tut was making good on his pledge to humiliate Hickok, reaching Hickok's own ears within an hour.
Can you imagine that? That little old towner bear's like, yep, here he is, walking down the street.
Did you see him? He's got the watch on. He actually did it.
That's insane. You think anybody would even care, you know?
Well, they all live for the drama, man.
Right. There's nothing else to do. They've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning waiting for something to happen. Crazy. According to testimony of Eli Armstrong and supported by other witnesses, John Orr and Oliver Scott, Wild Bill met Tut at the square and discussed the terms of the watch's return. Tut now demanded $45. Armstrong tried to convince Tut to accept the original $35 and then negotiate for the rest later. But Wild Bill was still adamant that, guess what, bud? This thing in my pocket says only $25.
He's like, damn the $45.
Right.
Damn the 35.
Right.
You'll get what I owe.
At least he's saying, hey, man, I'll give you something. He can be like, you ain't getting shit.
All right.
Well, Tut, he held the watch in front of Hickok and stated he would accept no less than $45. Both then said, hey, I don't want to fight, man. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I had like 3 hours of sleep. Let's go get a drink. So they did. Tut soon left after that and returned once again to the square, still wearing the watch. Damn, this dude went right back.
Doesn't care now.
Went right back into the middle of
alcohol,
town.
and that's probably the worst thing to do.
Right.
A few minutes before 6 p.m., Hickok was seen calmly approaching the square from the south, his Colt Navy in his hand.
This dude spent all day in the square. Holy shit. Doing what?
Well,
just chilling.
It wasn't no 10 o'clock in the morning when they first met. It was probably 4.
Maybe.
The motherfuckers probably didn't go to bed till 9 in the morning.
Right.
His armed presence caused the crowd to immediately scatter to the safety of nearby buildings, leaving Tut alone in the northwestern corner of the square.
Uh-oh.
At a distance of about 75 yards, Hickok stopped, facing Tut, and called out, "Dave, here I am." He cocked his pistol, holstered it on his hip, and gave a final warning. "Don't you come across here with that watch." Tut did not reply, but stood with his hand on his pistol.
Oh.
Both men faced each other sideways in the dueling position and hesitated briefly.
Tut then drew for his pistol. Hickok drew his gun, steadied it on his opposite forearm.
Damn, it's like...
The two men fired a single shot, each at each other at the same time. Tut missed, but Hickok's bullet struck Tut in the left side between the 5th and 7th rib.
Oh, he got him. He just got him.
Tut called out, "Boys, I'm killed."
Oh, damn.
Ran on the porch of the local courthouse and back to the street where he collapsed.
Oh, jeez, this dude was in a panic. He's like...
Damn. Dude got him in his lung.
Yeah, you old lunger. The next day, a warrant was issued for Hickok's arrest, and 2 days later, he was arrested. Bail was initially denied, as in common in murder cases. Hickok eventually posted a bail of $2,000. What a good thing he had it.
Holy shit.
Equivalent to $39,800 in present day. That's still not a lot.
Wow.
On the same day, after the magistrate reduced the charge from murder to manslaughter based on the circumstances, that's why it was only $2,000. Hickok was arrested under the name of William Haycock, the name he had been using in Springfield, for the manslaughter of David Tutt, and during the trial, the names were amended to J.B. Hickok and Davis Tutt / Little Dave.
Oh.
Little being an equivalent to the present-day Junior, right?
Right.
To indicate having the same name, yes. We know.
Right. That's his old daddy boy.
So he was Little Junior.
Little Junior. He's Junior. Wild Bill's manslaughter trial began on 3rd of August, 1865. Lasted 3 days.
Look at that.
22 witnesses from the square testified at the trial. Hickok's lawyer was Colonel John S. Phelps, which was a former Union military governor of Arkansas. The prosecution was led by Major Robert W. Fine. The judge was Sempronius H. Boyd.
All right, Sempronius.
Right. The trial transcripts have been lost, though. But newspaper reports indicate that Hickok claimed self-defense.
Of course he would.
The most disputed fact at the trial was who fired first. Only 4 witnesses actually watched the fight. 2 claimed both men fired, but they could not tell who drew first. What can you do?
Oh, one said he was standing behind Hickok, so only saw Hickok draw, as his view of Tutt was blocked. Another said Tutt did not fire, but admitted noticing Tutt's gun had a discharge chamber. The other witnesses all stated that while they did not see the shooting, they heard only one shot. Despite Hickok's claim of self-defense being technically invalid under the state law pertaining to mutual combat,
Right.
since he had to come to the square arm,
Right.
the jury decided that he was justified in shooting Tutt. Right, I mean, back in the day, they all knew you
Right.
can't just do this to this guy.
Right.
As Tutt was the initiator of the fight by taking Hickok's watch and the
Right.
first to display overt aggression, and since 2 witnesses indicated Tutt was the first to reach for his pistol, the unwritten law dictated that Hickok was justified and subsequently absolved him of guilt.
I mean, I love Wild West
In Wild West, they all know, like,
laws.
you can't...
Right. Even though they were quick to shoot because they rarely, well,
That's not true either.
Yeah,
There's very
like-
few
they fought.
gunfights in town, too.
they fought a lot, but they're still quick to shoot. What can you do, right? Well, in fact, Wild Bill was seen as being honorable for giving Tut several chances to avoid the
Right.
conflict.
Like, dude, I did everything. I walked around for 4 days while these guys
Right.
were harassing me and trying to throw my name in the mud.
And the court was like, well, he could have shot him at the moment. He felt he was disrespected, but he didn't. Judge Boyd gave the jury 2 apparently contradictory instructions. He first instructed the jury that a conviction was its only option under the law. Wow. However, he then instructed them that they could apply the unwritten law of the fair fight and acquit, an action known as jury nullification, which allows a jury to make a finding contrary to the law. The trial ended in acquittal on the 6th of August, 1865. after the jury deliberated for about an hour
Hour or two.
before reaching a verdict of not guilty, which was not a popular verdict at the time.
Remember, the dude was popular in the town, so probably he had to get out of Springfield after this, I'm assuming. A prominent Springfield attorney gave a speech to the crowd from the balcony of the courthouse denouncing the verdict as against the evidence in all decency.
Ooh, you're just
and there was
riling up
talk
the
of
crowd.
lynching Hickok.
Oh, shit.
The verdict was expected and well in keeping with the trail law of the day as stated by a modern historian. He says, nothing better described the times than the fact that dangling a watch held as security for a poker debt was widely regarded as justifiable provocation for resorting to firearms. Right, I mean, you can't do that.
I mean...
You can't humiliate somebody in the middle of town.
Right.
While Hickok felt humiliated by Tut wearing the watch, Tut could also claim the same humiliation if he failed to wear the watch, essentially bowing to Hickok's warning. No, you can't.
You shouldn't have took the watch in the first place.
Right.
Guys should have settled the debt, taken him to small claims court.
Stupid.
Due to his notoriety.
Down.
Right. The gunfight has since received much research and attention. Several weeks after the gunfight on 13th September 1865, Colonel George Ward Nichols, which was a writer for the Harpers, sought out Hickok and began the interviews that would eventually turn the then unknown gunfighter into one of the great legends of the Old West. Davis Tutt's body was initially buried in Springfield City Cemetery, but was disinterred and reburied in Maple Park Cemetery in March of 1883. Damn, 18 years later. His half-brother, Lewis Tutt, which was a former slave who was the son of Tutt's father and his female slave, he's the one that did that. Damn, this dude is half black?
No, it's half brother, which clearly...
Yeah. His bro
is black, yes.
Nice. Good beautiful.
Did he get buried by his half brother, like next to his half brother, or his half brother's the one that reinterred him?
I think his half brother is the one that did it.
Right, maybe. Either or, he's in Maple Park Cemetery right now. Several weeks later, an interview Hickok gave to Colonel George Ward Nichols, was published in that Harper's New Monthly magazine under the name Wild Bill Hickok. The article recounted the hundreds. Hitchcock, right. It recounted hundreds of men whom Hickok had personally killed and other exaggerated exploits.
Oh, wow.
The article was controversial wherever Hickok was known, and several frontier newspapers wrote rebuttals. That's not true.
They did Billy the Kid on this dude.
You think Hickok wouldn't even want that because now he's got this reputation. I've killed hundreds of men, so now you got hard asses in every town he goes to probably want to challenge him, which we've seen
a million times. Wow. September 1860.
He probably got paid
right
a bunch of money, so he's like, whatever, I don't care.
Whatever, right.
Nobody reads this shit.
Right. September 1865, Wild Bill came in second in the election for city marshal of Springfield. Damn.
Well, look at that. He stayed.
Leaving Springfield. Well, he decided to leave Springfield. He was recommended for the position of deputy federal marshal at Fort Riley in Kansas. He's like, I'm going to go here. These people want me. This was during the Indian Wars, in which Hickok sometimes served as a scout for General George Custer of his 7th Cavalry.
Yeah, don't stay with him too long.
Henry M. Stanley of the Weekly Missouri Democrat. He reported Hickok to be an inveterate hater of Indian people. Quote unquote.
Yeah, I bet he does. But it doesn't make any sense if he was like pro-abolitionist and all that shit.
Well,
but
maybe he did that to enhance his reputation as a scout and an American fighter.
I guess.
But separating fact and fiction is difficult. And considering his recruitment of Indians to cross the nation to appear in his own Wild West show.
Yeah, but it's for money, though.
Right.
Witnesses confirmed that while working as a scout at Fort Harker, Kansas, May 11th, 1867, Hickok was attacked by a large group of Indians who fled after he shot and killed 2.
Oh, shit.
In July, Hickok told a newspaper that he had led several soldiers in pursuit of Indians who had killed 4 men near the fort on July 2nd. He reported returning with 5 prisoners after killing 10. Witnesses confirmed that the story was true to the extent the party had set out to find whoever had killed the 4 men, but the group returned to the fort without nary a dead Indian and never even seen a live one, for that matter.
No shit.
I mean, obviously,
right?
You're going to come back. Oh, that's the glory of these days. You can go back and just say whatever you want.
Yep.
Who's gonna prove you wrong?
Exactly. Well, there's always somebody, though, as we found. December 1867, newspapers reported that Wild Bill had come to stay in Hays City, Kansas. He became a deputy U.S. Marshal on the 28th of March in 1868. He picked up 11 Union Army deserters who had been charged with stealing government property. Hickok was assigned to bring
Union Army deserters in 1868?
Right. Well, they still had to do the rebuild of the South. and all that.
Reconstruction?
Right.
But they weren't Union. It was American now.
Right.
So were they wanted back
Then
from
it's
them?
been wanted for 3 years.
Maybe.
Oh, shit. Hickok was assigned to bring the men to Topeka for trial.
How many people do you think they had a list of that
Thousands.
that ran away? And do you think
Thousands.
that'd be interesting to look up, see how many if they actually like went and searched for these guys after the war?
Right. Yeah. Hickok was assigned to bring the man to Topeka for trial, and he requested a military escort from Fort Hays. He was assigned Buffalo Bill.
Hey, look at that. These guys just keep crossing paths, huh?
He was assigned Buffalo Bill Cody, a sergeant, and 5 privates.
All right, Private.
Hey, they arrived in Topeka on April 2nd. Hickok remained in Hays through August of 1868, when he brought in 200 Cheyenne Indians to be viewed by excursionists. Oh, look at this.
Tourist attraction, right?
Right. A bunch of Indians that were like, oh, look at these guys.
Oh, look at that. They did that. Dude, you know how prevalent that was? Like Japanese and Chinese, they did that to all of them. Like, would like just put them like, hey guys, look at these guys. They're weird. They're weird. They look weird.
Look what they do. They're crazy. Weird. Look at the way they look at us.
I can't tell if they're sleeping or not. September 1st, 1868, Hickok was in Lincoln County, Kansas, where he was hired as a scout by the 10th Cavalry Regiment, which was a segregated African-American unit.
Oh.
September 4th, Hickok was wounded in the foot while rescuing several cattlemen in the Bijou Creek Basin who had been surrounded by Indians.
Uh-oh.
The 10th Regiment arrived at Fort Lyon in Colorado in October and remained there for the rest of 1868.
Oh,
this
shit.
dude just gets around, doesn't he?
You ain't kidding. Look at this guy. July 1869, Wild Bill returned to Hays and was
that.
elected city marshal of Hays and sheriff of Ellis County, Kansas. And a
Double duty.
Right. It was a special election that was held on the 23rd of August, 1869.
They're like, Hickok's back in town. Let's elect him.
Right. 3 sheriffs had quit during the previous 18 months.
Ooh.
Hickok may have been acting sheriff before he was elected. We don't know. A newspaper reported that he arrested offenders on the 18th of August.
Well, that would have been before the election, right? So obviously he had a badge of some sort.
Right. And also the commander of Fort Hays wrote a letter to the assistant adjutant general on the 21st of August in which he praised Hickok for his work in apprehending deserters. Maybe he was just like
He was a U.S. Marshal, though.
Yeah. The regular county election was held on the 2nd of November, 1869. Hickok ran as an independent, but lost to his deputy, Peter Lanahan, who ran as a Democrat.
Well, you know that Democratic power. They're going to vote blue no matter who.
Yep.
Well, Hickok and Lanahan, however, remained sheriff and deputy, though. What? Well, what?
What?
What? How does that make sense? Maybe Lanahan was like, no, you just, whatever, dude. Why would he run then? That don't even make any sense. Stupid.
All right.
Hickok accused a J.V. McIntosh of irregularities and misconduct during the election.
Oh, wow.
Fake news.
Right.
On December 9th, Hickok and Lanahan both served legal papers on McIntosh, and local newspapers acknowledged that Hickok had guardianship of Hays City.
Oh, shit.
Oh, okay, just because local newspapers, who the hell are the
Right.
media? The media's been doing this for shit for years.
You ain't kidding.
Jeez. September
Wow.
1869, his first month as sheriff, Hickok killed 2 men.
Oh, shit.
The first was Bill Mulvey, who was galloping through town on a rampage, drunk, shooting out mares and whiskey bottles behind bars.
I mean,
Can't do that.
No.
Citizens warned Mulvey to behave because Hickok was sheriff. Mulvey angrily declared that he had come to town to kill Hickok.
Oh, you can't do that, you dumb son of a bitch. Well, when he saw Hickok, he leveled his cocked rifle at him. Hickok waved his hand past Mulvey at some supposed onlookers and yelled, "Don't shoot him in the back. He is drunk." Mulvey wheeled his horse around to face those who might shoot him from behind, and before he realized he had been fooled, Hickok shot him through the temple.
Damn, Hickok, you dirty, bro.
That is some dirty shit.
Well, what are you going to do?
The second man killed by Hickok was Samuel Strawhan, a cowboy who was causing a disturbance in a saloon at about 1 o'clock a.m.
That's equivalent to 1 p.m. during their times.
Right, this was on the 27th of September when Hickok and Lanahan went to the scene. Strawhan made remarks against Hickok, and Hickok killed him with a shot through the head.
Damn.
Hickok said he had tried to restore order.
That's not the way you do it.
Right. I don't feel like dealing.
Hey, just get out of here. At the coroner's inquest into Strawhan's death, despite very contradictory evidence from witnesses, the jury found the shooting justifiable.
I'm sure they did.
On July 17th, 1870, Hickok was attacked by 2 troopers from the 7th U.S. Cavalry. He used to serve or be a scout for those guys. Right. Oh, that was the infantry. Jeremiah Lonergan and John Kyle are the ones who attacked him in the saloon. Lonergan pinned Hickok to the ground, and Kyle put his gun to Hickok's ear.
Oh, shit.
When Kyle's weapon misfired, Hickok should have been dead.
Oh.
Hickok shot Lonergan, wounded him in the knee, and shot Kyle twice, killing him. Hickok again lost his re-election bid to his deputy. They're like, this dude's just killing everybody. We got to get him out of here for real now.
Damn, this dude. Wow. Can you imagine having a gun misfire on your head, dude? And you're just like, whoa.
April 15th, 1871, Hickok became Marshal of Abilene, Kansas. He replaced Tom Bear River Smith, who had been killed while serving an arrest warrant November 2nd, 1870.
Wow.
Took a long time to get a new sheriff. Outlaw John Wesley Hardin arrived in Abilene at the end of the cattle drive in early 1871. He was a well-known gunfighter and is believed to have killed more than 27 men. We'll get to his story.
Ooh.
In his 1895 autobiography published after his death, Hardin claimed to have been befriended by Hickok, the newly elected town marshal, after he had disarmed the marshal using the road agent spin, but Hardin was known to exaggerate. That's the little thing where he takes the gun and flip it around. You've seen it in like 100 movies. In any case, Hardin appeared to have thought highly of Hickok.
Wild Bill later said he did not know that Wesley Clemens was Hardin's alias, nor that he was a wanted outlaw. He told Clemens, which was Hardin, to stay out of trouble in Abilene, and asked him to hand over his guns, and Hardin complied. Hardin alleged that when his cousin Manning Clements was jailed for the killing of two cowhands, which is Joe and Dolph Shadden, in July of 1871, Wild Bill, at Hardin's request, arranged for his escape.
Oh, I doubt that.
I don't think so.
Come on now.
I don't think so. August 1871, Hickok sought to arrest Hardin for killing Charles Cougar in a Abilene hotel for snoring too loud. Oh, we remember that one.
Yeah.
Hardin left Kansas before Hickok could arrest him, though. She's not today, copper. Newspaper reported a man was killed in his bed at a hotel in Abilene Monday night by a desperado called Arkansas. The murderer escaped. This was his sixth murder. Quote, unquote.
How do they know?
Right.
Hickok and Phil Coe, a saloon owner and acquaintance of Hardin's, had a dispute that resulted in a shootout.
Oh, shit.
The Bows Head Saloon in Abilene had been established by gambler Ben Thompson and Coe, his partner, businessman, and fellow gambler.
Okay.
Two entrepreneurs had painted a picture of a bull with a large erect penis on the side of their establishment as an advertisement.
Cool.
Citizens of the town complained to Hickok, who requested that Thompson and Coe remove the image. They refused, so Hickok altered it himself. Infuriated, Thompson tried to incite John Wesley Hardin to kill Hickok by exclaiming to Hardin that he's a damn Yankee, picks on rebels, especially Texans, to kill.
Oh, wow. Around town, Hardin was better known as Little Arkansas.
Little Arkansas.
He seemed to have respect for Hickok's abilities and replied this: if Bill needs killing, why don't you kill him yourself? Hoping to intimidate Hickok, Coe allegedly stated that he could kill a crow on the wing. Cool. Hickok's retort is one of the West's most famous saying, though it's possibly false. And it said this: did the crow have a pistol? Was he shooting back? I will be.
October 5th, 1871, Hickok was standing off a crowd during a street brawl when Coe fired two shots.
Oh,
what a pitch. Hickok ordered him to be arrested for firing a pistol within the city. Oh, I thought he fired it at him. He
can't do that. City
ordered
limits.
him to be arrested in city because he's shot in city limits.
Right.
Coe claimed he was shooting a stray dog and then suddenly turned his gun on Hickok, who fired first and killed Coe.
Oh.
Another account of the Coe shootout. Theophilus Little, the mayor of Abilene and owner of the town's lumberyard, recorded his time in Abilene by writing in a notebook, which was ultimately given to the Abilene Historical Society.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Wow. Writing in 1911, he detailed his admiration for Hickok and included a paragraph on the shooting that differs considerably from the reported account. It said this: Phil Coe was from Texas, ran the Bull's Head, a saloon and gambling den, sold whiskey and men's souls. As a character as I ever met. For some cause, Wild Bill incurred Coe's hatred, and he vowed to secure the death of the marshal. Not having the courage to do it himself, he one day filled about 200 cowboys with whiskey and intending to get them in trouble with old Wild Bill, hoping that they would go to shooting and in the melee shoot the marshal. But Coe reckoned without his host. Wild Bill had learned of the scheme and cornered Coe, had his two pistols drawn on Coe. Just as he pulled the trigger, one of the policemen rushed around the corner between Coe and the pistols, and both balls entered his body, killing him instantly. Wow. In an instant, he pulled the triggers again, sending 2 bullets into Coe's abdomen. Coe lived a day or two, and whirling with his 2 guns drawn on a drunken crowd of cowboys. And now, do any of you fellas want the rest of these bullets, he asked. Not a word was uttered.
So he killed a cop?
Wow.
Oh, shit. After shooting Coe, Hickok caught a glimpse of someone running toward him and quickly fired 2 more shots in reaction,
Oh, shit.
accidentally shooting and killing Abilene Special Deputy Marshal Mike Williams,
Oh,
who was coming to his aid.
right.
This was the last time Hickok was ever involved in a gunfight.
Wow.
The accidental death of Deputy Williams was an event that haunted Hickok for the remainder of his life. Yeah, he killed him. He killed your guy, bud.
Oh, shit.
Hickok, what about the policeman he killed?
Right. You don't care about him, huh?
Hickok was relieved of his duties as marshal less than 2 months after the accidental shooting, this incident being only one of a series of questionable shootings and claims of misconduct during his career.
Right. Wow. 1872, Hickok recruited 6 Native Americans, 3 cowboys. He's like, why don't you guys accompany me to Niagara Falls? I'm going to put on an outdoor demonstration called the Daring Buffalo Chase of the Plains. Since the event was outdoors, he could not compel people to pay, and the venture was a financial failure. The show featured 6 buffalo, a bear, a monkey, and one show ended in disaster when a buffalo refused to act.
Right. He's like, no,
Nope.
I'm not doing it this time. I want more.
Wow.
What a buffalo eat?
This prompted Hickok to fire a bullet in the sky. This angered the buffalo and panicked audience members, causing the animals to break free of their wire fencing and chase audience members around, some of whom were trampled.
Yeah, I bet. You don't want to mess with buffalo, man.
They're huge.
They'll kill you. The incident helped contribute to the overall failure of the show. Well, in 1873, Buffalo Bill Cody and Texas Jack Alejandro invited Hickok to join their troupe after their earlier success.
Huh?
Hickok did not enjoy acting and often hid behind scenery. In one show, he shot the spotlight when it focused on him.
Oh.
He was released from the group after a few months. But you're just not working out.
Like, come on, man.
Jeez, just shoot at stuff. That's all people want to see is that art.
Right. I'm like, jeez. 1876, Wild Bill sought treatment from an eye specialist in Kansas City, Missouri. No definitive diagnosis has survived, but speculation ranges from secondary syphilis to glaucoma.
Jeez.
Damn. Although he was only 39 years old, his marksmanship and health was apparently in decline. And he had been arrested several times for vagrancy. I mean, this dude is drunk everywhere. Despite earning a good income from gambling and displays of showmanship only a few years earlier.
Spent it all, huh? From 81 until his death in 86, Hickok had vision problems. Former cavalryman J.W. Doc Howard, who had known Hickok, stated that Hickok had left Buffalo Bill's Scouts of the Plain exhibition because the lights affected his eyes, so he had to give it up.
Right.
Maybe. Charles Snyder, the Lucien Howell Library of Ophthalmology at Harvard Medical School, said granular conjunctivitis, ophthalmia, trachoma, call it what you will, it was common on the western frontier. Jesse James suffered from it. Ooh.
Maybe it's because they always stare at the sun or something?
Inner surface of the eyelid is the roughen. This roughening can lead to eye pain, cornea breakdown, and eventually blindness.
Wow, that's from riding all the time and your eyes can't, they're not getting water. Wild Bill, he met Agnes Thatcher Lake, at the time 45 years old, July 31st, 1871. Lake was a widow and the proprietor of Lake's Hippo Olympiad Circus.
Oh, look at that.
She arrived in Abilene and went to the office of town marshal to pay the performance fee. She and the circus departed the very next day, but Lake and Hickok continued to correspond. On the 5th of March, 1876, Hickok married Lake in Cheyenne, Wyoming territory. Hickok left his new bride a few months later, joining Charlie Utter and his wagon train to seek his fortune in gold in South Dakota, and you all know it to be Deadwood.
Yep, shortly before his death, Hickok wrote a letter to his new wife, which read in part, Agnes, darling, if such should be we never meet again, while firing my last shot, I will gently breathe the name of my wife, Agnes. And with wishes even for my enemies, I will make the plunge and try to swim to the other shore. Oh. Well, Martha Jane Canary, known popularly as Calamity Jane, claimed in her autobiography that she was married to Hickok and had divorced him so she could be free to marry, or he could be free to marry Agnes. But no records that support her account have been found.
Right, this bitch was just crazy. She was in love. Yeah, she looks terrible. Nice. The two possibly met for the very first time after Jane was released from the guardhouse in Fort Laramie and joined the wagon train in which Hickok was traveling with old Charlie Utter. The wagon train arrived in Deadwood, July 1876.
So they just met now. He was already married.
Right. Jane confirmed this account in an 1896 newspaper interview, although she claimed she had been hospitalized with illness rather than in the guardhouse.
So she lied about marrying him. So,
Right.
Liar. Confirmed it.
Right.
August 1st, 1876, Hickok was playing poker at Nuttall and Mann Saloon number 10 in old Deadwood, North Dakota territory. When a seat opened up at the table, a drunk man named Jack McCall sat down to play. McCall lost heavily. Hickok encouraged McCall to quit the game and go get some breakfast, right? And he gave him money for breakfast.
Just clowning his dude.
He's like, just all right, man, that's enough. Although McCall accepted the money, he was apparently insulted. The next day, Hickok was playing poker again. Of course he was. He was usually sat with his back to a wall so he could see the entrance, but the dude was an addict, and the only seat available when he joined the game was a chair facing away the door, and he's like, whatever. I could wait for like an hour for it to open up, but I won't.
Well, he asked twice another man at the table, Charles Rich, to change seats with him, but Rich said, nah, man, I'm doing good right here. McCall.
Charles Rich felt like shit?
Right, I bet. McCall then entered the saloon, walked up behind Hickok, drew his Colt Model 1873 Single Action Army 45 caliber revolver.
Okay.
Serial number 2079.
Oh, nice.
As identified by William Massey, the riverboat captain seated at the table, and shouted, "Damn you, take that!" before shooting Hickok in the back of the head at point-blank range. Hickok died instantly. The bullet emerged through his right cheek and struck Massey in his left wrist. Hickok may have told his friend Charlie Utta and others who were traveling with him that he thought he would be killed while in Deadwood. Oh, man.
May have told. How do we know this?
Right.
Hickok was playing 5-card stud or 5-card draw, whichever one you want to say, when he was shot. He was holding 2 pairs, black aces and black eights, although there is some dispute as to the suit of one of the aces, diamond versus spade. And those were his up cards, which has since become widely known as the dead man's hand. The identity of the 5th card, which is his whole card, is a subject of debate. Did it say people said it was like a 10 or something?
Yeah, something like that. McCall's motive for the murder is a subject of speculation, largely concerning McCall's anger at Hickok's having given him money for breakfast the day before, after McCall had lost heavily and been humiliated by old Wild Bill. McCall was summoned before an informal miners' jury, which was an ad hoc local group of miners and businessmen. He claimed he was avenging Hickok's earlier slaying of his brother, which may have been true. A man named Lou McCall had indeed been murdered by an unknown lawman in Abilene, Kansas. But whether or not the 2 McCall men were related is unknown.
As well as whether or not the unknown lawman is Wild Bill.
Right.
Well, McCall was acquitted of the murder, which prompted editorializing in the Black Hills Pioneer, saying, "Should it ever be our misfortune to kill a man, we would simply ask that our trial may take place in some of the mining camps of these hills."
Yeah.
Calamity Jane is reputed to have led a mob and threatened to kill. What?
Oh.
Led a mob that threatened McCall with lynching, but at the time of Hickok's death, Jane was actually being held in military authorities.
Oh, wow.
Well, she was doing some dumb shit, huh?
Right.
After bragging about killing Hickok, McCall was rearrested. The second trial was not considered double jeopardy because of the irregular jury in the first trial, and because Deadwood was at a time an unorganized Indian country.
Yeah.
Right? Well, now you're facing actual U.S.
Wow. The new trial held in Yankton, capital of Dakota. The territory, not the state. Hickok's bro, Lorenzo Butler, traveled from Illinois to attend the retrial.
Oh, yeah.
McCall was found guilty, sentenced to death.
Yeah.
Leander Richardson, which is a reporter, interviewed McCall shortly before his execution and wrote an article about him for the April 1877 issue of Scrivener's Monthly. Lorenzo Butler Hickok spoke with McCall after the trial and said McCall showed no remorse.
In that magazine, it was written, "As I write the closing lines of this brief sketch, word reaches me that the slayer of Wild Bill has been rearrested by the United States authorities, and after the trial has been sentenced to death for willful murder. He is now at Yankton, D.T., Dakota Territory, awaiting execution. At the second trial, it was suggested that McCall was hired to do his work by gamblers who feared the time when better citizens should appoint Bill the champion of law and order, a post which he formerly sustained in Kansas border life, with credit to his manhood and his courage." Jack McCall was hanged March 1st, 1877, and buried in a Roman Catholic cemetery. The cemetery was moved in 1881, and when McCall's body was exhumed, the noose was found still around his neck.
Wow. Didn't even save the rope.
Oh.
Charlie Utta, Hickok's friend and companion, claimed Hickok's body and placed a notice in the local newspaper, the Black Hills Pioneer, which read this: "Died in Deadwood, Black Hills, August 2nd, 1876, from the effects of a pistol shot. J.B. Hickok, other known as Wild Bill, formerly of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Funeral services will be held at Charlie Utta's camp on Thursday afternoon, August 3rd, 1876, at 3:00 p.m. All are respectfully invited to attend." Oh, that's beautiful. Almost the entire town attended the funeral. And Charlie had Hickok buried with a wooden grave marker reading this: "Wild Bill, J.B. Hickok, killed by the assassin Jack McCall in Deadwood, Black Hills, August 2nd, 1876. And it said this on the bottom: "Pard, we will meet again in the happy hunting ground. To part no more. Goodbye, Colorado, Charlie." see each other. Aw.
Well, he's not saying goodbye, Colorado
Right.
Charlie.
He's saying, goodbye, Colorado Charlie. See each other.
It's on his gravestone. Like, we want that there, dude. Jeez. Hickok is known to have fatally shot 6 men and is suspected of having killed a 7th, who was McCandless. Right. Despite his reputation, Hickok was buried in the Ingleside Cemetery, Deadwood's original graveyard. What does that do with his reputation? Right. This cemetery filled quickly in 1879 on the 3rd anniversary of Hickok's original burial. Utter paid to move Hickok's remains to the new Mount Moriah Cemetery. Utter supervised the move and noted that while perfectly preserved, Hickok had been imperfectly embalmed.
Oh, wow.
As a result, calcium carbonate from the surrounding soil had replaced the flesh, leading to petrification.
Oh, nice. One of the workers, Joseph McClintock, wrote a...
Isn't that a movie? McClintock?
Maybe.
McClintock?
That's possible. He wrote in detailed description of the reinterment. McClintock used a cane to tap the body, face and head, finding no soft tissue anywhere. He noted that the sound was similar to tapping a brick wall and believed the remains weighed more than 400 pounds. Holy shit. William Alston, the cemetery caretaker, estimated 500 pounds that they weighed. All right, here we go. But it was actually 450 pounds.
Right.
This made it difficult for men to carry the remains to the new site. The original wooden grave marker was moved to the new site, but by 1891 it had been destroyed by souvenir hunters, whittling pieces from it. You piece of shit.
Take the whole thing at once.
And then it was replaced with a statue.
Mm-hmm. This, in turn, was destroyed by souvenir hunters.
Come on.
And replaced in 1902 by a life-size sandstone sculpture of Hickok. This, too, was badly defaced and was then enclosed in a cage for protection. The enclosure was cut open by souvenir hunters in the 50s, and the statue was removed. Jeez. Hickok is currently interred in a 10-foot square plot at the Mount Moriah Cemetery, surrounded by a cast iron fence with the U.S. flag flying nearby. The flag never goes down on Mount Moriah Cemetery, as Deadwood was granted permission by the U.S. Congress during World War I to fly the flag 24 hours a day to honor all veterans who have served their country.
Oh, fantastic.
You have to have permission? Who cares? What, are they going to come and check up on it?
That's the laws of the land, man.
Do shit.
That's the laws of the flag. It has to be illuminated. You have to take it down at night. Calamity Jane was reported to have been buried next to Hickok, according to her dying wish. 4 of the men on the self-appointed committee who planned Calamity's funeral, which was Albert Mulder, Frank Ackney, Jim Carson, and Anson Higby, they later stated that since Hickok had absolutely no use for Jane in this life, they decided to play a posthumous joke on him by laying her to rest by his side.
Like this annoying bitch.
Right.
Hickok's favorite guns were a pair of Colt 1851 Navy model 36 caliber cap and ball revolvers. They had ivory grips and nickel plating and were ornately engraved with J.B. Hickok 1869 on the backstrap. He wore his revolvers butt forward on a belt or sash when wearing city clothes or buckskins, respectively. And seldom used holsters. He drew the pistols using a reverse twist, or a cavalry draw, as would a cavalryman. As Marshal of Hayes, Hickok had an Adams and Dean percussion 44 caliber pistol.
At the time of his death, Wild Bill was wearing a Smith & Wesson Model No. 2 Army revolver, a 5-shot, single-action, 32 caliber weapon. Innovative as one of the first metallic cartridge firearms and favored by many Union officers during the old Civil War.
Good for him.
Bonham's Auction Company offered this pistol at auctions on 18th November 2013, San Francisco. Described as Hickok's Smith & Wesson No. 2, serial number 29963. A 32 rimfire with a 6-inch barrel, blued finish, and varnished rosewood grips. The gun did not sell because the highest bid was of $220,000 was less than the reserve set by the gun's owners. Hey man, didn't get to the reserve.
No.
The second pistol Hickok had his
sad.
Right. The second pistol Hickok at his death was a Sharps Model 1859 32 caliber 4-barreled rim-fired Derringer.
Yeah, a 4-barrel, huh?
No.
Hickok has remained one of the most popular and iconic figures of the American Old West and is still frequently depicted in popular culture, including literature, film, and television. Paramount Pictures' Western silent film Wild Bill Hickok, released November 18, 1923, was directed by Clifford Smith and stars William S. Hart as Hickok.
Okay.
A print of the film is maintained in the Museum of Modern Art Film Archive. The movie The Plainsman in 1936, starring Gary Cooper as Hickok, features the alleged romance between Calamity Jane and him as its main plotline. It is a loose adaptation of Hickok's life, ending with his famous aces and eights card hand. A later film in 1953 and subsequent stage musical, both titled Calamity Jane, also portray a romance between Jane and Hickok. In the film version, Howard Keel co-stars as Hickok to Doris Day's Calamity Jane. Doris Day is way too good looking to be Calamity Jane, guys. Yes.
Fantastic. Prairie Schooners 1940 American Western film directed by Sam Nelson, which stars Wild Bill Elliott as Hickok.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, awesome Bill.
Right, awesome Bill.
1954, an episode of Gunsmoke on CBS Radio featured Don Denner as Wild Bill. Hickok was sent from Abilene to arrest Matt Dillon, which played by William Conrad, for the murder of a man he had thrown out of Dodge earlier that month.
Damn, Matt Dillon, huh?
Right. In the episode, Dillon and Hickok are old friends. Cool. The Adventures of Wild Bill Hickok was a 1950s TV series starring Guy Madison and Andy Devine. Why would you name your child Guy?
Right.
I never understood that. The White Buffalo, 1977, starring Charles Bronson as Hickok, tells a tale of Hickok's hunt for a murderous white buffalo that follows him in his nightmares.
That sounds stupid.
It might be decent.
Highly fictional film account of Hickok's later years and death, titled Wild Bill in 1995, stars Jeff Bridges as Hickok and David Arquette as Jack McCall, and was written and directed by Walter Hill. Really.
Not a bad movie. Pretty good.
Also in 95, he's depicted as a character in an episode of Legend TV series by William Russ. The episode correctly relates Hickok's vision problems late in his life and also includes his murderer, Jack McCall, in a highly fictionized role.
No?
It ends with Hickok surviving the murder attempt due to wearing body armor when shot in the back, then secretly leaving for a ranch in California. Since he was actually shot in the back of the head, that plot element is a complete artifice of the episode writers. Obviously, they're just doing it just because.
Right.
Obviously.
Do some things.
Right.
A semi-fictionalized version of Hickok's time as Marshal of Abilene, titled Hickok, in 2017, stars Luke Hemsworth as Hickok. It was decent. Trace Atkins as Bull's Head Saloon Keeper Phil Cole. Chris Christopherson as Abilene Mayor George Knox.
I thought Trace Atkins played Hickok.
And Kawhi Lyman Merceru as John Wesley Hardin. It was written by Michael Lanahan and directed by Timothy Woodward Jr. Early 1990s, ABC's television series Young Riders. Fictional Count and Pony Express riders. Hickok's portrayed by Josh Brolin. Oh,
Hey.
damn. HBO series Deadwood from 2004-2006. Wild Bill was played by Keith Carradine, which he's only in 3 or 4 episodes.
5 or 6.
Hickok is playable character in 2018 board game Deadwood, 1876 by Facade Games.
It's odd, but yeah.
Cool. In the Battle of Buster Scruggs, I couldn't get through that movie.
That was a good movie.
It was weird. Scruggs refuses to play the dead man's hand upon entering a game of poker. He's like,
Hickok's birthplace is now the Wild Bill Hickok Memorial and is listed as a historic site under the supervision of the Illinois Historic Preservation Agency. The town of Deadwood, South Dakota, reenacts Hickok's murder and McCall's capture every summer evening. Every summer evening? Jeez. 1879, Hickok was inducted into the Poker Hall of Fame. Oh, look at that. Poker Hall of Fame.
You know Deadwood's going to do it every evening because it's a tourist town, so
Right.
they got to do it every night. Yeah, why would you do that?
Why not?
I guess.
No different than reenacting battles.
What if at one time it was a real bullet?
Right. I mean, if I was the Hickok guy, I'd be checking the gun
You get
right before every time. Don't want no, especially after this whole Russ situation. Alec Baldwin's like, hey, man, I want to step in as the Jack McCall on this
Jack
one.
McCall.
I don't think so there, Alec.
Hell, you will.
That's it. Oh, Wild Bill Hickok. Look at that. Nice little story for Wild Bill. He should get more recognition. He doesn't get enough.
No.
Really, he doesn't.
No.
For fact that his gun only got $220,000. If it was
Right.
Doc Holliday or Wyatt Earp,
Right.
it would have been $1 million. Not $1 million, probably, but at least $500,000 or something.
Be a lot.
Sad. But that's it for a Wild Bill and this month's episode of Remastered Outlaws and Gunslingers. Keep it tuned here. On next Remastered episode is going to be the Dalton Gang. Yeah, so next week, next month's episode of Remastered is going to be all about the Dalton Gang. Everybody knows about the Dalton Gang.
I know about Dalton.
Everybody knows about the Dalton Gang. It was a gang of trained and bank robbers operating mainly in California, Kansas, Oklahoma through 1890 to 1892. Short little run, but they did a lot. So yeah, good story. In the meantime, go check out our YouTube at Bang Dang Network. Answer the Spotify question. Give us a review on Spotify, Apple, and subscribe to the YouTube. Like I said, we'll be back next week for more Outlaws Gunslingers, where the month of music is we.
Bang dang.